Alright, so the game's in maintenance, so I had to kind of make with what I had, and I made basically graphics to show you guys teams that will be very good to run day one of Black Clover Mobile, as all of these units should be there day one. So I give you 5 teams that have a pretty either like free-to-play option or decently enough SRs, or just like enough different units so that like you should be able to make one of the 5 teams present. I use obviously Voltos and Finral a lot. I use Lotus a lot, but I tell you, please get Lotus, right? Get Lotus from the reroll. And from that point, for seasonal units, you could get one of the 3 seasonal units for free, and from there you're probably either summoning on the Red Yami banner or the season 1 banner. So most of these units should be accessible to you. And yeah, if you can't make some of these teams, I'm sorry, but I'm just here to give fun, good teams at the same time. So all 5 of these teams should be very good to use in PvP, alright? Now, first team, as you can see on screen, is Steroid. So I gave funny little names to all of them. And this team is basically just giga buffing one unit, right? So you've got the Finral slot that also could be William. And that's going to basically either going to be to speed up the DPS or to make them do more damage, right? Both at the same time. Now, if you choose William, you will not be able to get off the Lotus debuff, or like the debuff from any of those 3, because William will speed up the DPS too much. So I think that's why Finral's better. Now, Voltos is there to either, if you're already quick enough, you could use your magic attack buff, or you could just speed ahead with your ultimate. And then you've got the debuffing role for Lotus that could also be replaced by Rill or Charlotte, all lowering the defense or just making them take more damage in general. Charlotte lowering defense, Rill incapacitating them and stunning, and Lotus slowing them and making them take more damage. Then you've got this role, which I believe would be best inherited by Blue Yami. This was more so for an AoE team. I trying to do something that could probably work more. This is more an early team, I'd say. Basically, you're going to AoE, and then most of them should die. Maybe not by Red Yami because it's a skill 1 AoE. But I'd say that Fuego could do a good amount of damage. Yami could kill 1 or 2, probably, if it's readiness. And, you know, I mean, he's your free-to-play option if you really feel like it, right? So, yeah, this is the team. I think it's a pretty decent team to just put him on steroids, put your Yami on steroids in general. You mainly are going to, like, obviously, this is going to just debuff the units, and then one of these 2 units or one of these 2 slots are going to buff your Yami, and the other one's going to speed you ahead. That's how you kind of are going to be using this team. And not Yami, it could be any of these 4, right? So that's how you're going to be using this team in specific. Now let's go on to team number 2. So this one is basically no damage. You're not really going to take any damage, right? It's honestly really, really good, and it's only going to be good up until maybe, like, if Ryan Lich released right away, which I don't think they will. There's only 2 banners, it seems, coming out on launch. So this team is going to be good for a decent while, right? Now, how it works is that Lotus Nozel applies weapon disarm, and what weapon disarm does is it makes them do less damage, and Charlotte applies attack reduction, and then Radis is going to shield you up and increase your defense. And if you don't have Charlotte, if you don't have Radis, sorry, you could use Vanessa, and Vanessa is going to basically make you take less damage by blocking and increasing defense, and Noel 2 is going to increase your defense and give you a shield. So all 3 of those options are good. Charlotte, you'll probably get her, and then Nozel, I mean, if you get him, you're going to probably have fun with this team, I'd say. And of course, you're going to have 1 DPS. So, I don't know, maybe Red Yami, Blue Yami, Red Asta, right? Whoever, it doesn't really matter. But definitely these 3 slots are needed to make this team not make you take much damage. It's actually so toxic, bro. Like, it's so toxic. Charlotte and those are both lowering the amount of damage they do, and you increasing your defense makes you take no damage, bro. It's actually so fun. But I didn't get to use it that much, right? So it sucks. I'm actually like, listen, I'm going to be building this. Hopefully they give us enough like SSR shards to build all the teams I want, because essentially I want to build most of the teams that I'm showing you guys today, because they're genuinely like fun. Like, dead ass, if I don't even get Radis, I'll put fucking like Noel. It doesn't matter. I just want to try a combo with these 2, right? It's going to be so fun, bro. Okay. So anyway, next up, this team, based, bro. Based. Absolutely based. So, you see Voltos twice there. It's because he fills the role of either or, right? So, anyway, this is basically a burn team. You want to have you want like best case to have Leopold and Fuego. If you don't, very sad, but you can't really run a burn team. There's not many other options except for Magna, and Magna's only really usable because he has a guaranteed stun when there's a burn active. I think it's guaranteed stun. Let's see, is it guaranteed stun? Red debuffer, is it guaranteed stun or 50% chance? No, apply stun to an enemy if they have an active burn. All right, so yeah, basically you're gonna want to use it to cast burn to get the stun off, right? So that's how we're gonna be using this if you're gonna put Magna. But if not, both Leopold and Fuegoleon get increased damage when there is burns active, and they both apply burns. And what you're gonna do with this slot is you're gonna make this your magic attack buff slot. So if you don't have Sally and you use Voltos, well, you're gonna use Funeral here for your speed slot, right? So why I'm saying that you want to use magic attack buffing is basically they both have like some of the highest magic attack in the game. Like on launch, they have the highest magic attack, both of them. So that's why you want to buff them with magic attack over anything else, right? Crazy that Lotus has higher attack stats than Lich. Anyway, so yeah, basically that's how it's going to work. And you're going to buff, if you have Sally, it's going to be an all attack AoE buff, so like everyone's getting the buff. If not with Voltos, it's going to be whoever you have better invested that you're going to be buffing, because he gives a 70% magic attack buff, but only to one unit. So that's how he's going to be used if you use him in this slot. And if you have Sally, then you could use Voltos in this slot, and there you go. And if you don't have Leopold, or if you don't have Fuego, I think you could still use Magna, and you could still have fun with either or, I'd say. But once Fauna comes out, this team is going to start to shine, because she does AoE and she has a burn with skill page. And she just does really good damage overall. So I think when Fauna comes out, this team's gonna really shine. But this team is based as fuck, bro. Like doing a burn team, I love you. If you actually do one, I love you. Now next up, yeah. So by the title, you know, it's just mean. Like it's genuinely just mean. How this team works is it's a counter team. So you're gonna have Yami, and alongside it, there's gonna be William, who you're gonna ult with. And the ult's gonna immediately go onto, or it's gonna apply a counter onto. I don't know if I said combo before, but it's gonna apply a counter to Red Yami. And Red Yami, his skill 1 is an AoE, and counters basically make you do your skill 1, or they do the attack of a skill 1. And since his is AoE, when they counter Red Yami, they're going to be just AoEing, or they're gonna get AoE'd like 2-3 times, right? And that's gonna be toxic. And if you pair it alongside, like obviously yeah, if you pair it alongside Lotus or any of the debuffers, any of the 3 debuffers that make the enemies take more damage, it's going to be even more. And then if you pair it with Mars, what he does, the role here is basically to make you take less damage. And Mars' way of doing that with the special combo with Mars, Mars' special combo with Lotus is gonna basically make it so that they have reduced all attack, and also they could get taunted. And taunted basically stops them from using any buff skills, and also obviously they have to hit Mars. And if you don't have Mars, you could use Rhodes, which honestly could even work better in some cases, because Rhodes has quicker speed. So in terms of keeping your Yami alive, who has very fragile HP, it's going to be even better because Rhodes is going to apply the shield. So Mars indirectly helps, and then Lotus. Rhodes directly helps, right? So this is how it's going to work. This team is very toxic, because you could literally not even attack with Yami yet, and the whole team could be dead. That's the fun of it, right? That's literally the Noel meta right now, where you counter and then GG, right? So that's kind of how it is. But this is the first version of it, and it's why William was so good, especially on launch, is that he reduces damage taken, but at the same time, in the same move, when the like person with the highest attack gets hit, they counter until it's their turn. So you could counter 3 times, and then yeah, bro, it's GG. Now this team is just the OG team. I kind of miss it. I just wanted to make a little thing on it, right? So basically, this team, very simple, 2 DPSs. You have 1 speed slot, and before we used Finral, but now Voltos we know is better. And then you have a debuffer. So this is the team, right? So you could also, if you want, like you could put Voltos here, and then you have 2 speed and then 2 DPS. That could be 2. But this is the OG team, so I wanted to kind of pay tribute to how it was. And for this, basically, you speed up with this slot. You make the enemies take more damage with this slot, and then you just do damage. That's it. Blue Yami probably could silence someone, so that is honestly really clutch. Makes them stop from using their skill 2 and ultimate. Then Red Asta could kill like 1 or 2 people. 1 person at least, 2 people if he's lucky, right? Because Asta gets a extra turn on his ultimate when he attacks someone over 80% HP. So he could get 2 kills because he's a single target god. Yami could do really good single target damage, but also he has an AoE, so that's really good, especially if you pair it alongside the Lotus ult. Lotus ult AoE does a lot of damage already, and then Yami AoE does even more, and he could probably kill someone, and then by the time... and also, like, little side note, but if you have Asta Dupe 5, he's gonna have 109 speed, higher speed than even fucking Lotus, so it's like insane. Like, his speed gets so high at max dupe that he just becomes a god, and basically guarantees you win, especially in this team. There's no way, like, you don't even need more than 1 speed unit for this team if you have 109 speed, unless it's like Finral versus Voltos, right? Because, you know, Finral always loses to Voltos, very sad. So yeah, these are 5 teams that you could try out. I'd say that these are pretty free to play. I'm giving you 3 debuffer options, one of which you should be able to get free to play. Maybe, I mean, yeah, you could get Lotus free to play. Maybe you'll get Charlotte. I don't know. And then obviously this is another free to play slot. You get one of these 2 free to play because of the Gateway of Destiny. And this team, well, not really free to play, but it's mean, right? This is what it's meant for. So the debuffer slot, obviously, you're gonna get that. One of those 3, right? And from that point, the others, it's just like, this is more of a pay to win team, obviously, but that's how it is. Now, as for base team, this one, very, very niche, but I think it's actually a really fun team. And you could literally, like, kind of have a, like, if you get even Leopold or Fuego and just 3 SS, like, you get either one of these 2 and then the 3 SRs on the bottom, and that's the team, right? That could be the team. And then this team, honestly, it's gonna actually be pretty free to play, trust me, but you're gonna have to wait to see how much. All I'm saying. And the steroids team, honestly, this one's like free to play as fuck. Speed, debuffer, which you better fucking choose for the reroll, and then one of the many DPSs that have an AoE, right? That's it. Literally it. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for watching. If you got to this point, especially, love you guys.